Why listening to Jeremy will make you go bankrupt.
One of YouTube's true OG finfluencers and a purveyor of financial advice so terrible, even Jeremy regrets following it.
Since this time last year, I am down not 1 million, not 2 million, $3 million. Let that sink in for a moment.
You know, I almost feel bad for Jeremy, right up until I remember that a lifetime membership to his stock trading club costs $5,000.
Let that sink in for a moment.
So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at some of Jeremy's worst stock picks, his portfolio performance, and how he actually makes his money. So before we get into the aforementioned 3 million or 60% portfolio loss, how exactly did Jeremy get into stocks in the first place?
Take me back to when you started. How old were you when you started stock market investing?
Yeah, that was around 18, 19 years old. Back in 08, 09, at the end of 08, I got in the market and just started buying some stocks around like a few $100 to my name. It was a crazy time too, because the market was crashing. It was a great financial crisis. So I would have this downtime. I'd send out all these emails and stuff and had lack of jobs. So then I was like, I'll just record a YouTube video.
And that's it. Jeremy bought in during the GFC, then a few years later was bored and decided to give advice on things he has no clue about and still has no clue about. Hence some of his recent stock picks.
So with Tattooed Chef, I'm 100% convinced this is going to be a $5 to $10 billion market cap in 2030 based upon where I see their revenues going over the coming years, based upon where I see their net income going, their margins going, everything like that, okay? It's a $687 million market cap right now. So I think this company is going to be a $5 to $10 billion company. That's why I'm investing in it.
What the f are you talking about, Jeremy? Tattooed Chef to have a market capitalization of 5 to 10 billion by 2030? How? The company made plant-based foods, not exactly the stuff people are shoving each other out of the way to buy. I mean, fuck, Jeremy. Even Yahoo was telling you this thing was grossly overvalued. But before we cast too much judgment, let's hear some of Jeremy's due diligence.
I'm investing in this company, and so whether it's at a $687 million market cap or a $1 billion market cap or $1.5 billion market cap, right? In the end, it's all going to end up being gravy in my personal opinion, right? And right now I'm going down with the ship. I'm the captain of the Titanic, and we're going to the bottom of the ocean. Little do they know, this is not a regular ship. We're in a submarine, and we're going to come back up, baby, and we're going to fire the nukes, okay? This is a nuclear submarine.
Do people seriously take investment advice from a guy who just said he's willing to go down with the ship on his stock choice? What?
Apparently they do. Apparently they do. Dude has over 800,000 subscribers. And he basically, in that little clip right there, just said, I don't care how much money I lose. I am so stupid. I have locked myself emotionally to this stock that I will take it all the way down because I'm smarter than the market. It has to go up from here. It should go back up. That's the most dangerous word in finance. Should. It should go back up from here. And if it doesn't, I'll just let my portfolio evaporate. I'm telling you right now, this is a heart to heart from Chris to you. You don't have to do this. You do not have to be anchored to a trade that's going down. In fact, you should never be anchored to a trade that's going down. If you're looking at your portfolio and you see something's not working, you need to take a second, evaluate, do I need to be holding this? Is this part of my plan to be holding this? And if not, get out of the way. Take the loss and move on. And I want to show you a couple slides real quick. Take the loss and move on. Because first slide that I want to show you, once I find it, I've lost it. There it is. There is no shame in losing money on a stock trade, but to hold on to a loss and let it get bigger and bigger, or even worse, to buy more, it's amateurish and self-destructive. Losers average losers. If you are in a losing trade and you're like, oh, I'll just buy some more, average price down, right? No, losers average losers. You're adding to your loser right here rather than adding to your winners. Next, you can take the opportunity. Very handsome guy said this. You can take the opportunity to turn your losses, your small losses, back into cash before they become big losses. Do not let this opportunity pass you by. Okay, there are a myriad of quotes that I can put on here, right? While you do nothing, less experienced, lesser disciplined, and less skilled investors lay the groundwork for your success, right? They'll let them build the basis. We can buy the breakouts. I'm in the business of responding, not prediction. Trading the future is impossible and unnecessary. Trading is a now business. And if you're looking at a stock and you're predicting, oh, it has to go up from here. Oh, it's going to have a 10x market cap from here. I'll be the one laughing at the end of the day. Dude, I got news for you. You are about to experience the worst ride of your life, right? This is not Six Flags where you get to buckle up and it's exciting and everything's great. And hopefully, fingers crossed, that the safety inspections work today. No, this is your livelihood. This is your future. Why would you risk anything like this? To me, listening to somebody who has no idea what risk is about is the fastest way to lose your account. Why I'm super stoked that you've been watching my videos. And Jeremy, we have affectionately nicknamed the Joker because I, honest to goodness, don't think he has any positive intentions for you. I feel like his channel is self-serving as it can possibly be. And whenever he loses on a trade, he tries to get you to buy more to help him offset his position. I mean, the content that he puts out, encouraging people to make worse and worse and worse financial decisions in the guise of I'm a genius, you should follow everything I have to say, is insulting. He should not be doing this. And the fact that he is as big as he is insulting to the YouTube algorithm as well.
What kind of a fucking madman does that? Jeremy does know there's a sell button, right? Or did his memory of that disappear along with the remainder of his dignity after hanging out with dickheads 1, 2, and 3?
I know people have been wanting to see it, okay? They've been wanting to see how bad your boy has been destroyed in the market. Let's get into the ugly. And boy, does it.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing. Never should you have that feeling. Let's see how bad I'm getting messed up. Let's see how bad I've traded here. Just take the loss and move on. Actually, there's another slide I was thinking of. Let me find it real quick. It's knowing where you should get out. This one. Right. You bought here and it goes down, and knowing that you should get out when it goes down here. But you don't because you're afraid that it's going to rocket you back up. Jeremy is caught right here. This is an exceptionally, extremely amateurish move. I'm not joking. Like that is the closest thing I can say is that this is a very amateur move to see as it goes down saying, I think I'm going to hold on to it because it's going to go back up. And what happens is you get caught in this. And then you research all over the internet. You're looking for everyone else to justify how bad it was. You found echo chambers who can, say, oh man, I bought this too. This sucks. Right. Whereas the successful traders, the ones who are actually making money in the markets, they see, oh, it's gone down. I need to get out because I'm not going to let it take it down. I'm not going to let it take me down. Let's just do like a tiny bit of math right here. If you're down 50% on a loss right here, it requires a 100% gain to get back to break even. That means if you had a stock like AMD that was $150 and now it's gone down to 75 because it did go down to 75. In fact, no, 200 is better because it's around 100 right now. If you bought AMD at 200 and now it's down at 100, that's a 50% loss. But it needs a 100% gain to get back to that 200 point. Do you really think that you have picked the one stock that's going to go up 100% after it's gone down 50%? Let the market tell you where it's going. Stop trying to put your biases on it. This is what happens if you decide that you're smarter than the market.
Get ugly, okay? So now you're looking at the public account.
Now I want to preface this and say that from time to time, everyone picks a bad stock. It's natural. What isn't natural is consistently picking them and then holding on to them harder than this guy in his favorite glove. So in Jeremy's public account, he was holding 20,600 units of TTCF at a cost basis of 340 grand and a current value of 170 grand, down 50%. Now being down 170
so he needs to double to get back to break even.
70 grand is nothing to sneeze at, but that's his public account. What about his private account?
This is where it starts to get really ugly. What you're looking at here, this is my main private account. These are my Tattooed Chef shares in my main private account. Down $626,000.
Yeah, zoom in on that, Jeremy. That's a good idea. Really emphasize the fuckwittery that is your Tattooed Chef purchase. But as much as we'll be roasting Jeremy in this video, you'll be...
To this point, which I'm so stoked that I found this channel. I'm going to watch a lot of his videos. Like this should never happen, right? If you see a stock and the outlier trend template has the 10 under the 20 and price under the 50, that is a bearish trend. Stop it. Just stop what you're doing. If you see the 10 over the 20, price over the 50, that's a bullish trend. That's great. But as you can see right here, a bullish trend does not mean it's going to last forever. It might make you a buck, it might lose you a buck. But when it got to the bearish side, it told you for months and months and months and months that it was in a bearish trend. And yet you continue to hold. And now I can't look up Tattooed Chef anymore because it's gone. Months and months it went down. You held it all the way down? Because why? You like the stock? You like the CEO? The company's awesome. It should go up from here. Just let the market tell you what it's doing. Throw some moving averages on the chart. It gets a lot easier.
we gotta give him some credit here. Other fake gurus would lie through their teeth and say that they sold their shares and broke even, but not our boy. What Jeremy lacks in stock picking ability, he more than makes up for in testicular volume. So totaling his public account units of 20,600 and his private holdings of 65,555 at a blended cost of $17.90 a share, that's $1.46 million Jeremy decided to spend on a company whose balance sheet looked less balanced than Lizzo on a seesaw. Now, I'm not one to rub a lot of salt in the wound, just a pinch, but being down $626,000 isn't quite where Jeremy's submarine ended up.
Well, folks, it's official. I have sold all my TTCF stock. Yes, I have indeed. I've given this management team time and time again, chance after chance, and just to be let down and let down.
Yeah.
Okay. To his point, he's given the management team. He emailed Mr. Tattoo Chef, and he's like, Mr. Tattooed Chef, I need you to make the stock price go up, please. Thanks, bye. Bro, what? The market told you what it was doing. You decided not to listen. You decided that you were smarter than the market. Here you go. This is what happens.
I've given this management team time and time again, chance after chance, and just to be let down and let down.
Yes, I'm sure the management team of Tattooed Chef gave plenty of fucks, but as we can see, Jeremy offloaded most, if not all of his TTCF shares at around $1.30, putting his total loss not at
$626,000.
but closer to $1.35 million. Now again, everyone who buys stocks will have a red one or two in their portfolio, so to roll
Bro. Let that sink in. 1.3-ish million loss on one stock. 1.3 million-ish dollar loss on one stock. Like, it's hard to catch my breath just thinking about that. You let one stock take you out $1.3 million. That's obnoxious. That is unbelievable. And that is why people made videos like this. Because we don't want you to have anywhere close to this. Now, granted, I appreciate that Jeremy put it out on the YouTubes. But at the same time, how many people else lost their money with him trying to pump that stock to try and help his stock price?
out any bad luck, let's see Jeremy's due diligence.
We got more on the TTCF fact sheet, okay? We know this company is growing into much more than just a frozen food company within 24 months, which has been something some of the short sellers have tried to point out. We know the company is likely going to get in a whole lot more stores than they're in today, right? We know more doors are coming, meaning, if you, have a certain amount of shelf space in a store, more SKUs are coming, right? We know the company has 9 figures of cash, right? We know the company has Sam and Sarah in the front of this company, right? Sam, 35 years or whatever in the food industry, right? We know Sarah has done an amazing job coming out with great products.
More stores, more doors, and Sam and Sarah. What? I've seen more in-depth research go into a baking soda and vinegar volcano project. Because unless Sam and Sarah are to plant-based food, what Hagen and Das are to ice cream, this company was dead on arrival. Now, while Tattooed Chef might have given Jeremy more of a roasting than I ever could, it's not the only stock he found disaster in.
My second, in terms of the position I'm down the second most on in the private account, Honest, $241,000, almost $250,000. You combine those together and what is that, $900,000 or so down?
Is right. $900,000 on a company who today is actually back at the price Jeremy purchased it at. So much for being a long-term investor and going down with the ship. So let's see some of Jeremy's expert due diligence in action.
Well, the stock I sold is Honest. Pretty simple decision for me. At the end of the day, when it comes to Honest, this just isn't a company that's shown any improvements in margins, any improvements in profitability, and it's extremely concerning. There's really two ways on how a company goes bankrupt. One way is they just have too much debt. They keep piling on the debt. They take bigger and bigger losses over time, right? Because essentially they're having to pay down this debt, but they're whatever they're making for profits, if it is a profitable company, it's going straight to.
Funny. I'm just reading through that. How a company goes bankrupt, they have too much debt, their margins go down and their losses go up. Sounds like somebody's trading account. You have too much debt. You have too much put into a certain one top. You have too much in one stock and your margins are to the floor because you're all margined out. And your losses are going up. So that's how your trading account goes bankrupt. Thanks for that lesson, Jeremy.
The debt.
Now, while it's true that companies do go bankrupt from having too much debt, at the time Jeremy filmed this video, Honest had no debt, which leads me to believe that Jeremy's due diligence for this company was about as good as his handwriting. Shit is so bad, it looks like he's experiencing a permanent seizure.
In regards to Honest, it goes even deeper and further than just a situation around the financials, which are really troubling. They brought in a CEO, Carla Vernon, obviously the beginning of this year, end of last year, kind of, right? Carla, she posts so much of this, it just getting a lot of people frustrated because here's the deal. Honest is fighting for their life as a company. The company's down to like $18 million of cash as of last quarter, and they just took a $13 million loss in the last quarter. So they're fighting for their life. And meanwhile, you have Carla, people are just getting fed up with it. She's posting this at honest, diversity, equity, and inclusion, or all these things. And, people are like, how about sales and margins?
Yeah, how about those sales and margins? Because while Honest was a struggling company, its founders such as Brian Lee, also known as the brains behind Kim Kardashian's enterprises, and Jessica Alba weren't going to let this shit fail. They appointed a new CEO in January of 2023, but Jeremy didn't even give her a year to try and turn the ship around, selling his stock in September of 2023. And you know where the stock is today? 400% higher than when Jeremy sold it. So how about sales and margins? How about shut the f up, black and white photo guy?
As you're seeing there, basically lost everything in the stock. 200.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Hang on just a cotton pick a minute here. Holy moly. If you do this, you shouldn't be playing the game. Whoa. He let a stock go down basically 100%. And that's not the one, it sounds like. He did this more than once. Holy moly. And to Luke's point, this is exactly why fundamental analysis isn't realistic for retail investors or any investor, really. Like, if fundamentals come out once a quarter and there's 90 days in a quarter, you really think that the other 89 days don't count? And the 4 days a year that you get the numbers that come out, then everything's based on that. The price, which is the only way that you're going to make money, the profits that follow the price will be made on 4 days a year. I'm sorry to tell you this. You have got your head in the sand. And once a quarter you pop it, be like, I'll go back in the sand. What are you thinking?
That's $250,000. We got to talk about this stock here and kind of what's happened, what's transpired.
Yeah, what's transpired here is Jeremy went full degenerate gambler. You never go full degenerate. This shit belongs on Wall Street bets. You know what's weird though? Is that Jeremy lets go of his winners and holds on for dear life to his losers. It's like once he finds a piece of shit company, he turns into Dominic Toretto and his ride or f***ing die with that thing. So let's hear just a snippet. You
know what? Fair point. I've heard the phrase Lambos or food stamps thrown around a lot. It feels like that is his investing strategy, right? Lambos or food stamps, tattooed chef. Lambos or food stamps, honest company. Here we go. Lambos or food stamps on the next one. AMD, Lambos or food stamps. Bro, just hold it. Wait a minute. I feel like there's a random guy who says this every once in a while. I think there's a random guy on the internet who says that all stocks are bad. And only every once in a while do they act right. But all stocks are bad because all stocks are risky. I don't know. Heard that somewhere.
Teaser of Jeremy's due diligence for Voyager.
Where do you even want to start? So in regards to that stock, how I even got into that in the first place was, I had no crypto exposure. It kind of seemed like I should get some exposure into crypto. And so I thought, well, I don't really know what's going to be the big crypto. So I'm going to play the picks and shovels business, essentially. And the picks and shovels business is an idea that basically comes from the gold rush. And you can either be the company or you can be the person trying to get the gold, or you can be the one selling the picks and shovels, right?
Yeah, not really. Voyager Digital was a crypto brokerage firm that made extremely risky loans to crypto hedge funds such as 3 Hours Capital. So they weren't the picks and shovels of the gold rush. They were the greedy speculative financiers who sport mustaches like this one. Yeah, see? Well, let's hear some more of Jeremy's due diligence.
So I said, okay, Voyager Digital. I looked at the company. At that time, they were cash loaded.
Nope, they had $225 million in cash, of which 165 was restricted, meaning it was not available for business use.
They had revenues that were exploding.
Nope, for the last 5 quarters, their revenue was volatile but relatively flat.
They were getting profitability.
At this point, I have doubts that Jeremy can even read. Voyager was not on the way to profitability. They were losing more and more money every year, until in 2021, they made several risky loans, of which they got a fraction back. Now, there are plenty of other disasters of stocks that Jeremy's recommended, such as Planet 13, disaster, Corsair, disaster, Very Good Food Company, shit name, and a disaster, Smile Direct Club, disaster, Oatly, disaster, and Avant Brands, disaster. So when we overlay these charts, it becomes pretty clear that if you did the exact opposite of...
Are all of these ones that he publicly talked about? Now, granted, I'm sure he's got some winners here and there. I'm sure he has to. He can't be that bad. Right? Even a monkey donkey, a monkey riding a donkey, throwing a dart at a board could win every once in a while. So surely that's not the case. But point being, if he actually held on to these stocks all the way down like this, I don't know how he has any money left to trade. Larry Hite, one of my mentors, who actually was one of the market wizards, he was the first $1 billion hedge fund manager. He said, you have to bet to win, but you can't bet if you've lost all your chips. Now, this is an example of what losing all your chips looks like. Okay. And there's an old adage, funny story, that if you want to earn a million, if you want to be a millionaire trading stocks, start with $1 billion and then lose your way down to $1 million. It feels like that's what he did here.
Of what Jeremy suggests to do, you actually might be the richest person on the planet by now. Although that shouldn't come as any surprise to us, because Jeremy isn't a stock picker, he's an entertainer. And if you don't believe that, just look at his channel. Jeremy's thumbnails are a combination of either looking surprised, looking like he's just...
By the way, I've learned a lot from Jeremy's titles and thumbnails. And so a lot of this style, you'll probably see on my channel as well, because it gets the clicks. I made 2,000 videos on YouTube. 2,000. They are on my channel. You're welcome to watch all of them. 2,000 videos on my YouTube channel before anybody ever noticed. But if I've been making YouTube thumbnails like this, y'all would have noticed me a lot faster. So he's doing that right at least.
Shit himself, or looking like the next baddie on To Catch a Predator. So now we know that Jeremy's individual stock picks perform as well as an 18-year-old's first time visiting this couch. Let's put it all together and see how his entire portfolio has done over the last few years. Now, Strongman Personal Finance should be credited with doing the legwork here, but, you know, I'd rather not have a topless man on my screen for very long, so I'll just slide on over.
What a weirdo.
So to work out Jeremy's portfolio's track records, our focus will be on the proceeds versus the cost basis, or how much he earned versus how much he paid. So in 2019, he had proceeds of $203,000 versus a cost basis of $166,000. In 2020, his proceeds of $400,000 versus a cost basis of $347,000. In 2021, proceeds were $370,000 versus a cost basis of $252,000. And finally, in 2022, his proceeds were $323,000 versus a cost basis of $69,000. Now, we also have to include his unrealized gains for 2022, which is proceeds of $1.252 million versus a cost basis of $1.48 million. Now, again, thank you, Strongman Personal Finance. Please put a shirt on. Jeremy's total dollar value gain.
So how does this make sense? How can he be down millions of dollars and other stuff and be up at the moment? I don't understand.
Is $233,879 over 3 years, which equates to 10%, when the S&P 500 is in nearly 60. So Jeremy isn't crushing it in the market. He isn't even at the market. Jeremy's investment strategy is literally worse than if you used a random number generator to pick your stocks for you. And this fucker has the audacity to charge $5,000 for a membership to his stock trading club? Now, it wouldn't be a Jeremy Lefebvre expose video without talking about FTX. The debacle that saw Sam Bankman-Fried get stabbed in the back by the female version of Harry Potter, in effect, unchambering his secrets.
Sam doesn't need the money to buy a Lamborghini or to buy a Rolex or to impress his friends. In fact, his car is a Toyota Corolla.
You trust the guy more when you see the car he drives. He's worth like $20 billion or something, and he drives like this kind. I don't want to call it beat up. It's like it's an older Toyota. He doesn't even have window tints on a completely stock Toyota.
To gain trust and endorsement from idiot gurus, drive stock Toyota.
The most generous billionaire ever, where you can get 10% off on your trading fees.
Fees are bad. Fees are very bad. But FTX, there are no fees whatsoever.
And if you sign up with our link,
then you too could have been a part of the class action lawsuit against the Stooge Pack, which as of filming is still ongoing.
Oh, hang on.
Two could have been a part of the class action lawsuit.
All right, so me, Kevin, Graham Stephan, Andre, I don't know his last name, Jasper, I don't know that person, Brian Jung, Jeremy Lefebvre, Tom Nash, our friend Tom Nash, Ben Armstrong, Erica Cullenberg, Creators Agency. Yeah. So he's probably going to talk about this, but they were making $100,000 an episode that they, and maybe I shouldn't say, that's the rumor that the rumor that I heard was they were making $100,000 per episode that they promoted FTX. You better believe I'd be promoting the mess out of FTX every other minute. I'd be like, y'all ever heard of FTX? Daggone, that's real good. Yeah.
Suit against the Stooge Pack, which as of filming is still ongoing. Now, the class action alleges that defendant Jeremy Lefebvre, a YouTube star with over 700,000 subscribers to his YouTube page, Financial Education, was paid to endorse FTX. And that's true. Jeremy admits he was paid by FTX to promote them, which in and of itself speaks volumes about Jeremy, but how the deal ended is a point of debate.
I made the hard decision to cut ties with FTX, and I just want to be fully transparent with you guys on my side of things and kind of what I've seen and why I've made this decision.
So Jeremy says he left FTX, not that FTX left him. It's the classic, she didn't dump me, I dumped her.
What actually is happening here is you're being taken by Jeremy for a little ride. Let me explain what's going on. Yesterday, FTX US sent an email to every creator that works with them and actually confirmed with my agency that this has been done across the board for all creators.
She dumped him. Now, it's bad enough that the scam squad endorsed such a piece of shit company to begin with, but for Jeremy to then lie about how the deal ended, Why? All Jeremy accomplished by doing that was to turn his already terrible reputation into a terrible reputation lasagna, adding a shit-filled layer of douchebaggery that I bet not even Meat Breath Kevin or Graham Steal Your Money Steven could have dreamed up. And with the irreparable damage done from the FTX debacle, Jeremy and his co-conspirators shut down Millennial Money, which used to look like this. You know, I've not seen this much doomsaying since the crazy guy from Little Nicky.
Hellfire is burning me alive!
Look at this shit. We lost everything. The recession is about to get worse. Just got margin called. We're done. And the stock market is a disaster. I mean, fuck these guys. The only thing they know how to sell is bad news and their souls. And speaking of selling, unsurprisingly, Jeremy has something to sell you.
And I wanted to create the ultimate training area where I could essentially train newer investors and maybe even experienced investors and take them up to a much higher level. And the way I kind of thought about this is I need to break it apart through course curriculums. And so I could teach everybody all the things they need to know.
Yeah, the only things people need to know are 1, not to listen to Jeremy, 2, not to listen to Jeremy, and 3, avoid whoever the Jeremy's hairdresser is.
So when they go to make moves in their portfolio, they feel confident going in, making those moves. And they're not just throwing money around. They're not just gambling money in the stock market.
Was gambling not what he was doing in those earlier videos? And how he wants us to pay him to teach us not to gamble? I think I'll pass.
So my private group is to get you up to a very high level in a very quick amount of time where you can go through these course curriculums. They're going to teach you everything, like downloading my brain to your brain, teach you everything that you need to know so you can take things to the next level, okay? And then with 1000xstocks.com, I created...
I'm not sure I'd want that. In fact, I think I'd have less money in my account if he had downloaded his brain into my brain. No, thank you. Not interested.
That as a premium investing software.
Ugh, 1000xstocks.com. Just when you thought Jeremy couldn't get any more slimy, he manages to outdo even himself. If it weren't so cringe, it'd almost be impressive. And by the way, the only thing premium about Jeremy's software is the cost. So let's see what it looks like. And holy shit, it's even more tacky than I could have imagined. This site looks like the financial equivalent of taking a date to McDonald's. I feel greasy just being here. Now, I won't go through most of this garbage website, except for one part, what I would call the pièce de résistance, the shining turd of the website. Beautiful. But this is everything that is wrong with Jeremy on one screen. He doesn't understand how companies work at all. These metrics and data points are just a snapshot at a specific moment in time. They're totally useless to us. Is the company's PE going up or down over time? Did they have a big write-off or just affected margins? Are they acquiring someone into big cash burn? None of that is here. And what is this many stocks trade at? What, is that in the same sector, in the same industry? The fuck are we supposed to do with that information? This screen is as useless as Jeremy. And the cost to access all of this garbage, a 1-year membership will set you back $1,200, a 2-year membership $2,000, and a lifetime membership, well, that'll set you back a cool $5,000. So to bring it all together and make it extremely clear why Jeremy doesn't really give a shit how much he makes or loses in the stock market, or how much he causes you to lose in the stock market, we're about to do some quick math. Now, all of these numbers are accurate as filming and may have changed since. So starting with Jeremy's YouTube channels, of which Jeremy has 2. Jeremy's main channel gains about 54,000 views a day, and his other channel 28. So that's 82,000 views a day and an assumed revenue per mile of $25, which equals $2,000 per day, $14,000 a week, or $746,000 a year. Enough to just about scratch the surface of Jeremy's gambling addiction. Now, Jeremy also has a Patreon account with 1,190 members. That's right, Jeremy has 1,190 people who pay him a monthly subscription for God knows what reason. Now, his base subscription is $7 and mid-tier $33, and the VIP bundle, also known as the very idiotic purchase, is $163. So let's assume a 60%, 30%, and 10% split between the 3 tiers. That's 60% of 1,190, which equals 714 times $7, which equals $4,998. Tier 2 is 30% of 1,190, which equals 257 times $33, which equals $11,781. And the VIP tier, which is 10% of 1,190, equals 119 times $163, which equals $19,387. So per month, Jeremy's Patreon earns him $36,176, or $433,112 a year. Adding that to the $746,000 earlier, it comes to $1.18 million. Additionally, and I hope you didn't again forget the masterpiece that's 1000xstocks.com, if we...
Dude. Jeez Louise. Dude's raking it in. No wonder he can just throw money at bad stocks.
Assume that say 50% of his Patreon subscribers are also a member of Jeremy's 1000x stocks, and assume a 33% split between each of the tiers, 1 year, 2 year, and lifetime. That's 16.6% of 1190 times 1,000 plus 16.6% of 1190 times 2,000 plus 16.6% of 1190 times 5,000, which equals $1.58 million. Now, the lifetime membership is obviously not a recurring fee, so with the final calculation, I've assumed that the 16.6% of the 1190 Patreon members is a new member rate per year, which effectively makes it a recurring fee. So, Jeremy's total yearly income from being one of, if not the worst goddamn stock investors on the fucking planet, comes to a whopping $2,760,432 a year, which is just mind-blowing to me that a guy whose value to the human race comes with a negative number takes in more money a year than a fucking cancer research lab. That is pure and unadulterated insanity. So I hope you see now why Jeremy has the luxury of gambling his money away, because it isn't through his stock portfolio that he actually makes it. So while Jeremy's advice causes him to lose money at a staggering rate, it will very likely cause you to go bankrupt. Thank you for watching, America.
Man, that was brutal. That was seriously brutal. But I'm glad they called out people like that. I'm so glad they call out people like that. And honestly, people are going to be calling me out at some point when I have a losing trade. All I have to do is say, it's on the YouTubes. The receipts are all there. You can follow along if you choose to, right? Good gravy. But you know what? I'm actually really excited. Let's change topics real quick. I want to see what the market's telling us. Let's do this. Let's see what the market's telling us. Hold on. I got to find the slide. All right, let's see what the market's telling us. So firstly, we see that a couple days ago, the SPY had the 10 over the 20, price over the 50. We had the crossover here for a bullish trend. Now, keep in mind, that doesn't mean it's going to go bullish forever, right? It's not gangbusters to the moon from here. It's not Lambos or food stamps, right? We can see it's trending in this direction, and it will go this direction as long as the trend is going, right? And we don't know when that'll stop. But we know with the 10 over the 20, price over the 50, that the trend is currently bullish right now. Now, what I want to look at next is market breadth. So market breadth measures how many stocks are on our, actually, let me go back to our dashboard. Nope, let me go back to the watch list. What you see on here is how many stocks we have with buy signals versus sell signals. Now, today we have 177 new buy signals like AEO, AKR, ALK, ARCC, etc. 81 sell signals, AORT, OR, PTON, etc. So if we go to market breadth, you're going to see that it had bottomed and is starting to peak back up just a little bit. Now, for me, in the way that I trade, that's a huge red flag. That's a huge red flag for me right here. You can see how the market breadth, the green line is measuring how many stocks are on our buy list, how many stocks have buy signals. And the red line is a 10-period moving average of that. And it's super cyclical, super cyclical. But once it peaks and comes back down, I go to cash. I don't put on any new trades until this cycle reverses. And I want to get in on this side of the curve, not up there. Now, why do I want to get in on that side of the curve? I have this chart that I worked on earlier today here. So this is what the market breadth chart looks like as it's being cyclical. This is the market cycle. The market cycle and market breadth are so in line. It's unbelievable. So you can see when everybody's selling, everybody's screaming sell, that's the part where you don't want to be getting in. And then when everybody's screaming buy, that's also the part where you don't want to be getting in, right? Now, why would I say when everybody's screaming buy, that's the point you don't want to get in? It's because once everybody's screaming buy, who's left? Who's left? If everybody's bought, all that's left are sellers. And so this euphoria up here, this complacency up here, quickly turns into anxiety, denial, panic on the way down, right? We see that. Now, because it went up there and it peaked and it's come down and now it's even peaked up a little bit higher, there is no way I wouldn't be buying this with your money at this point. I don't know where it's going to go, but I do know one thing. With this sort of euphoria here, it makes me really, really, really nervous. So for me, I wouldn't be putting on any trades today, but I do want to talk to you about something awesome coming up. Let me show you.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go! Let's go!
Oh, that is right. That is right. OVTLYR University starts next week. OVTLYR University starts next week. And unlike Jeremy, I'll actually teach you how to trade profitably. Now, here's the cool part. We're going to be doing this during the afternoon live streams. So you're already in the right place on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Those who have been invited to participate in OVTLYR University, I have emailed you today. I have sent you an email today with instructions on how we're going to get started. I am so stoked. I'm going to literally teach you every single thing that I know. For the 10 of you that get to work with me one-on-one, this is going to be amazing. And for everybody else who gets to watch, it's going to be free on YouTube. There's no paywall. There is no paywall. All you got to do is log into youtube.com, type OVTLYR University, and start learning. How's that sound? Now, who am I? Why would you even want to listen to me? I'm just a random guy. My name is Christopher Ewell. I've twice been awarded top 100 people in finance. I was mentored by 5 of the market wizards, the best traders of all time. I've been successfully trading since 2009, and this is where outliers like us save time, make money, and start winning with less risk together as a team. So go ahead and subscribe. That way you don't miss it whenever OVTLYR University comes out as soon as next week. Next freaking week. Oh, I'm so excited about it. This is going to be amazing. I can't wait. But I also can't wait for today's member highlight. So over in our Discord, we have an area that we call share your big wins. So where is that at? Share your big wins. Now, every Friday, I give away a $10 Amazon gift card for those of you who participate, just for fun, right? Because we want to hear from you. But we also want to see how you're using Outlier, right? And not everything is going to be a giant home run, but it's going to help you get into trades. It's going to help you get out of trades and hopefully be making money on all these new trades. Like Sue bought Palantir stock on April 24th, took profit today with 351 euros. Outstanding. Congratulations. MT, my win for the week, now part of my ongoing practice is position sizing. In your forward trades, instead of dividing my portfolio equally, I use a position sizing spreadsheet and allowed me to equalize the risk across all investments. So you're not putting everything in one stock and hoping for the best. You're actually having a plan in place. Even though the dollar amounts invested were in each stock were different, the risk was the same. Isn't that crazy? Let's see one more here. Baseball Junior. I missed the T trade, so the H&T trade last week because I was out of town. But I took SRAD on Thursday and sold on Monday to improve my account about 3%. Way to go. My first test of 3.0 and wanted to take something less risky, and I followed my plan because I felt closing it because I felt it was close to closing at the 10 EMA. So congratulations to all of you. This is so cool to hear how you are using Outlier to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk. So be sure to share your stories in the Discord. And the first rule of Outlier, as you can tell, because things are about to get crazy with Outlier University, you should tell everybody about Outlier. Okay. And of course, you hit the like button. Now, what I want you to do is put your stocks in the chat. I got a few minutes. I want you to tell me what stocks you're looking at long. So Palantir long, Uber short, whatever long and whatever short. That's what I want to know. I want to help you out. How can I help you by looking at a few of these stocks? So while you're doing that real quick, what is Outlier and how does it work? Well, old Uncle Warren used to say, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. Outlier shows you if investors are acting rationally fearful or greedy and by how much, allowing you to get into the stock before the Outlier move happens. And if you're ready to save time, make money, start winning with less risk, head on over to outlier.com, get the annual pass for just 82 cents a day. And if you're on the monthly plan, it's a one-click upgrade and you save 64%. So it's totally, totally worth it. So let's go look at your stocks. Let's go look and listen to what the market's telling us instead of telling the market what it should be doing, right? What it should be doing. So Michael Ross wants to look at Costco long. Costco's about to get more long today because I'm going there after this and I'm probably going to drop $500 on like strawberries and laundry detergent and toilet paper. Yeah, I can't walk out of Costco without spending buttloads of money. So Costco's currently sitting on a buy signal. It's in a uptrend right now. And the great thing about Outlier is you can look at a glance and you can see a green overlay means the 10, 20, 50s crossed up. Your Outlier trend template is going up versus your Outlier trend template going down with the red overlay. So that's going up. The stock is getting less fearful, getting more greedy. The sector, the staple sector, getting less fearful, more greedy. Now, one thing to note right here, the staples sector, not looking ultra bullish on the breadth. So it does have that going against it to me. We can see the master key is unlocked until the bullish trend reverses. Now, like I say, it's still above 75. Even though I'm not trading, the master key is still above 75. And if we look over here, Costco is sitting certainly within the greed and the staple sector is still within the greed. And you want to get more and more greedy. So far, Costco's looking good. Let's see if anything else pops out on Costco for me. Nah, Costco looks great. Earnings are a couple weeks out. You got until about man, I cannot believe Costco is $1,000 stock. Last time I saw it was $500. You've got until about 1,063 until you hit that order block. So Costco actually, for me, looks pretty sharp. Let's see. VacLab wants to look at CRK long. CRK. All right, so CRK is a energy stock. Let me zoom in. And it had a buy signal today. Looks like the trend template just crossed over today. It's getting less greedy, but it bottomed. Now today it's starting to look back up. Getting less fearful, moving towards greed. The energy sector kind of came back, but it's bounced up pretty strong. So far, so good. Let's go look at CRK on the chart. Oh yeah, CRK. I mean, it's struggling. It's bouncing up and down a bunch. But right here, it's got this order block, double order blocks. In fact, now I see that underneath, that's providing it some decent support right here. I mean, I don't see a reason other than the market breadth. This one looks pretty sharp to me. I don't really see anything that looks bad. So that was pretty good. Let's see. NeoQuant looks to HIMS long. All right, so we're looking at HIMS. We can see here, we've got a buy signal. It's in an uptrend. The fear and greed has gone from fear, deep fear, 3 out of 100. That's how fearful it was. Now it's at 58. So look at that. It went from all the way down here to greed within the span of a couple of weeks very quickly. The sector also getting more bullish on the fear and greed heat map. Let's go look at the chart, see if anything pops out on HIMS. Oh, HIMS has earnings when? After the close today? Here's the deal. I don't trade through earnings. Earnings are way too risky to me. So no, thank you. I don't do any sort of earnings trades. But for you, could be amazing. Could be. Let's see. Viet wants to look at Amazon long. Now, keep in mind, the market breadth has peaked, and we're still flirting with the top of this market cycle up here. Look at it from a market breadth perspective. And that gives me a lot of concern. This gives me a lot of concern. Okay. That's why Chris isn't trading. That doesn't mean you don't have to trade. I'm just telling you, know where your risk is at. So right here on Amazon, man, Amazon has been in a downtrend for ages, hasn't it? May have crossed over today. We'll see. Got very fearful. Now it's starting to lose that fear. And here's the cool thing, right? Price has not changed all that much, but you can see just how much the fear has evaporated, right? It's the same price as it was in March 12th. So we're in May now. The same price 2 months ago, but yet the fear is almost gone into greed. And over here, the fear was at 22 out of 100. Quite a lot. The sector's getting less fearful. And then let's see if anything else picks out on the chart for me. Still doesn't have that bullish crossover yet. Still not. So listen, if you're ready to trade, or if you're ready to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk, YouTube wants you to click one of these 2 videos that's popping up right now. And I want you to come back tomorrow. Have a fantastic day.